Japan. From space, the Earth looks like a deep blue disk because the deep blue sea covers 71% of the planet's surface. But what appears flat from afar reveals a dramatic landscape under the surface. Steep undersea canyons and deep trenches like the Mariana Trench in the Pacific, the deepest point in the ocean anywhere in the world, nearly 36,000 feet. That's deeper than the highest mountain on Earth is high, Mount Everest, which rises 29,000 feet above the border of Nepal and China. Everest is part of the Himalayan range, which has more than 30 mountains rising at least 24,000 feet. Kilimanjaro, at 19,000 feet, is part of a much smaller range, but is the highest peak in Africa. Africa does have the longest river in the world, the Nile, stretching for 4,145 miles. Only slightly shorter is the Amazon in South America, which actually carries more water than any other river on Earth. The Colorado River is known not for its length or volume, but for the creation of its current, the Grand Canyon, an abyss more than a mile deep. When it comes to uninterrupted vertical drop, the water flowing over Ribbon Falls in California's Yosemite National Park falls the furthest in North America, more than 1,600 feet. Each color on this globe represents a distinct combination of climate, terrain, and vegetation, called a biome. The 4 aquatic and 9 terrestrial categories on this globe show a simplified model of our planet's biomes. Unlike the distinct borders shared by countries, boundaries between adjacent biomes are more like transition zones, containing a mixture of elements from both sides. To make matters more complex, each biome can contain several secondary or subbiomes, each characterized by an even more specific combination of microclimate, topography, and plants. You can identify specific biomes from the desert to the rainforest. Double-click on the biome icons for more details. Islands can be formed in several ways. The Florida Keys were formed by living coral reefs and limestone deposits formed on the underlying continental shelf. The geography of the islands is quite different from that of the adjacent continent. Generally, as an island's size decreases, so does the complexity of its climate, vegetation, terrain, and animal species, and the more fragile its web of life becomes. When humans transform island landscapes, the risk of permanent environmental damage is significant. Over 2.5 million tourists visit the Florida Keys each year, mostly traveling from mainland Florida via the 114 miles of roadways and bridges that connect the Keys to the continent. Many of these tourists come to snorkel, fish, or boat near Florida's unique coral reefs. With careful use of the recreation areas, the reef's long-term survival can be protected. Major urban settlements have been built on lands ranging from marshlands to deserts, to the geologically unstable areas near fault lines. Land has even been reclaimed from coastal waters in large development projects throughout history. Low-lying landscapes are magnets for many kinds of natural and human-generated geographic transformations. If these areas occur in a wet climate, the lack of hills or valleys for directing rainfall runoff creates an environment prone to flooding. When an easily dissolved material like limestone underlies a flat area, underground water can create holes that cause the surface above to collapse, forming groups of small, roundish lakes. The drowned forests and grasslands that have become swamps and marshes form in flat areas where there is no outlet for ground, river, or rainwater. Humans are drawn to the ease of building on naturally level landscapes, even when it means having to drain fragile wetland habitats. Unlike the permanent blue line that you see on a map, a river rarely stays the same over time. Rivers widen and narrow, twist and turn, and sometimes take entirely new courses. Given enough time, they can create new canyons, valleys, floodplains, deltas, estuaries, or lakes. Unlike the relatively straight rivers flowing through canyons or gorges, oxbow rivers flow in a series of exaggerated curves. These curves are formed when the water on the outside of the curve flows faster than the water on the inside, eroding the outside bank more quickly, creating complex intersections. When this happens, the river can break through the adjacent banks, bypassing the curve altogether. The old curve, now isolated from the river, is called an oxbow lake. The immense power of rivers is not underestimated by humans. Dams can generate huge amounts of electricity by restricting the water flow and harnessing its force. Though the benefits of hydroelectric power are many, dams can flood hundreds or thousands of square kilometers, displacing both human and animal residents, and can also interfere with the spawning and migration of fish like salmon and steelhead trout. Careful planning and communication can help minimize a dam's impact on the local environment and its inhabitants. Planet Earth is a wet and salty place. Oceans cover 127 million square miles, 71% of the Earth's surface. They contain 97% of all the water on the globe. Because water doesn't heat up or cool down as fast as land, the Earth's vast oceans have a moderating influence on atmospheric temperatures, making many areas on land more habitable than they would otherwise be. Seawater itself is highly habitable, containing much more than just water and common salt or sodium chloride. It has a number of dissolved minerals, including calcium, sulfur, magnesium, and potassium. That special blend is part of a complex environment that sustains a staggering variety of plants and animals, much more diverse than on land, and found from the surface all the way down to depths of 10,000 feet and even deeper. In fact, new forms of oceanic life continue to be discovered, particularly in the dramatic depths along the mid-ocean trenches. But the richness of the oceanic biosphere is being threatened by mankind, not just from giant oil spills, but from overfishing and air pollution, from agricultural and industrial runoff, and from the waste generated by growing urban populations. By the year 2000, 1 billion people worldwide will live in cities by the sea. Still, some progress has been made. In recent years, fishing restrictions, including the banning of giant drift nets and ocean dumping rules, have helped. But the protection of the ocean, as perhaps mankind's ultimate food source, is far from assured. The land that meets the sea is known as the coast. Depending on the local climate, land, and water features, the appearance of a coast can change markedly. Coasts can be bisected by river estuaries and deltas, fragmented into islands, fringed with beaches, bordered by cliffs, protected by coral reefs, lagoons, or barrier islands, framed by marshes and swamps, or shaped into bays, inlets, and harbors. Deltas are usually formed at the mouth of a river. When the river enters the sea, it slows down and drops its suspended sediments and create a characteristic fan shape, extending the river mouth past the original coastline. Sometimes the river splits into channels, slicing the delta into a series of coastal islands.
Today, we're experiencing the greatest loss of species since life began. We could be losing several dozen species every day, far faster than when the dinosaurs died out 65 million years ago. There is a real danger that our grandchildren could live in a world where tigers, rhinos, and the California condor are only memories left on video. The reasons are habitat destruction, population growth, and sheer greed as demand for products from endangered species continues. Setting aside protected areas has saved some species, but this only works if local people can earn a living from the reserves rather than poaching. Otherwise, national parks may only exist on paper. There's nothing new about habitat destruction. Early U.S. settlers spread out across the prairies and plowed too deep. The soil blew away, leaving the dust bowls of the 30s. Today, the problem isn't just plowing. From space, you can see fires burning across the Amazon. They're started by landless peasants clearing land to make a living in the forest. They're often joined by loggers, and finally cattle ranchers creating temporary grazing land for livestock. The richest habitat on Earth could be gone in under 40 years. The government is aware of the problem, but the profits help pay off international debts. Some creditor nations, meanwhile, are writing off these debts, but it may be too little, too late. Habitat destruction, however, is not limited to the world's tropical forests. Take a look for yourself. Every second, 2 babies are born. By the year 2000, there'll be 6 billion of us, 5 times as many as there were in 1900. Child death rates have fallen almost everywhere, and many people want large families, as their children may be their only security in old age. Overpopulation is only a problem when people have insufficient access to resources like clean water, food, and housing. So no matter how good the ads for contraception, the most successful population programs work at improving people's living standards and education. Overpopulation is worst in the world's ever-expanding urban areas. At night, satellites pick out our major cities. By the century's end, 8 of the world's 10 largest conurbations will be in developing nations.
This globe shows how average temperatures around the world change over the year. The biggest seasonal differences occur in the temperate or mid-latitudes. Watch the red areas, indicating the hottest temperatures move north and then south in step with summer in the northern and southern hemispheres. Notice how the surrounding areas change to yellow and then blue, indicating cooler temperatures closer to the poles. Temperatures over the oceans change less than those over the land, because water takes longer than air to both heat and cool. This phenomenon has a stabilizing influence on coastal areas, which experience less temperature variation than interior areas. Many animals, including humans, migrate in time with these seasonal changes in search of both food and warmth.
This view of London was created from Russian spy satellite data, with color provided by the Spot satellite. Zoom in to pick out Buckingham Palace in its gardens, Hyde Park and the Serpentine, Tower Bridge, and, south of the Thames, the Oval Cricket Ground. What other landmarks can you find?